Hi, my name is Marina, and I'm studying communication program. So currently, I'm actually looking for different internships, especially in the ad agency. So I really like you guys, talk about experiencing selecting the right candidate. And so I have two short questions. I really want to get your perspective. So the first one is, um, some of you actually mentioned the term culturally fit, right? So I am actually an international student. I really want to know how you really define the culture fit. I know you guys mentioned like, if this person gonna work very well with the team, but how do you define that? Usually it's like happening during the first like phone interview screening, like the way that candidate express him or herself, or it's like the way you measure how that person think of an idea, the question you asked. So this is my first question. My second question is about, it's still interview related. So it's about the post-interview, the thank you note, right? Can some of you share like a good thank you note, what it should be looking like that could, resonate with you, like, oh, this candidate is so sweet. I remember that person. So what kind of thank you note will actually catch your attention? Because sometimes when you are in an interview, right, you probably will get nervous and you will forget the conversation. So how do you really draft that email? Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with cultural fit, and I'm guessing everyone has their own defined term for it, and I'll start with mine. To me, I have to see the person and sit with the person and really understand how will they work with my team. That's what I mean by cultural fit. It's not your culture, and it's not your language, and it's not the way you write typically, although the writing style will stop you from getting in. But for me, the cultural fit is really about, will that person work within our team and understand the way we work and how we click as a team? Anyone else would like to share?
I think it's hard to define because I think each place has a different, for us, I would say, I want to know that you have grit. I want to know that you're not easily frazzled. It's taken me years to develop what are the 5 biggest things that if I see that you don't have, I know it's not going to work, because I've seen people not work in my culture, and it's very sad when it doesn't. And when they leave and it's a cultural problem, I'm able to define what the issue was, and I'm much better at that next hire. And it's taken years, but I think a lot of agencies have that story where like, we're never going to do that again. I'm never going to hire someone who's going to cry every time I critique something. Oops, sorry, I keep bumping into my mic.
I want to add something too. You can ask. Tell me what your culture's like. You can ask that question. You're interviewing them too. So make sure you're asking, what kind of person really works here? Because you might say, God, I would be miserable. So it's really good to ask the question.
Yeah, you might not want to work.
Okay, anyone else want to share?
Well, we mentioned earlier we do a homework assignment, and I think a lot of that is, it's a good indicator of shows how someone thinks, and it doesn't necessarily have to be correct. It's more of a chance for someone to show us their thought process and then present, what they came up with. And I think that actually is a good chance to see how they think, how they interact with people, and sort of their natural ability to work, access to the people in the room. And I think that we kind of balance that out with a lot of the intangibles that are hard. A lot of it is how, the questions that you ask in the interview. And some of it is like art and science, right? It's a little bit of gut, right? Is there a connection? Was there a connection with everyone that you interviewed with? And again, it's a two-way street. Did you feel comfortable, and do you feel like you can be your authentic self? There isn't that silver bullet, but it's a little bit of the, did it fit?
I wanted to move on to the next question because I want to make sure we get to answer everybody's question. So Kathleen, I'm going to ask you just to answer the question about the thank you note.
Yes. Most definitely not a form letter. That is just generically thanking you for your time. I know that sounds obvious, but really hitting upon the points of what value you're going to bring, what value add you're going to bring to the company. I definitely think also moving the ball forward. So if there's maybe an answer that you didn't necessarily particularly hit, or something else that you brainstormed that you thought of, hey, when you asked me about this, I really thought more about X. Like continuing the momentum forward, if that makes sense, instead of deadening the conversation. Another one that I love is putting a link to an article, like after our conversation, I thought of X, and then linking to an Ad Age article or something associated with that company. I really enjoyed this press release you guys just did. Again, just keeping that momentum forward so it gives them a reason to reply and not just thanks so much. It was so wonderful. I hope I get to work at BuzzFeed, because that just obviously just goes to the piles of thank yous. So always moving the ball forward with something else that could spark a conversation.